Hello friends, this is Ankit and today we'll be discussing about a very important topic in mathematics, a very basic topic in mathematics known as percentage. Friends, before starting this topic, I would like to tell you certain important points before we start this lecture series. Point number one is there is no basic prerequisite for any student starting from this lecture series. If you know very basic things like what are numbers, there is no expectation from you to know anything in advance. Whatever you, if you have already know certain things, those things will be revised here, and if you don't know, you can learn through this video series. Also, what I would advise you personally is whenever you watch a video, you carry a white paper along with pen or pencil and then note down the important concepts which are being discussed in this video series, and you will be revising that particular those particular concepts before you attempt any mock test, or you will be revising those topics before your main examination. This will be really and these notes will be really handy when you will have a huge number of topics and you want to revise all of them in a very short span of time. So please follow that. So friends, in today's topic, which is known as percentage, this is the brief outline what we will be discussing today. We'll just introduce this topic first, then we'll be defining this, and we'll give you a basic formula. And there is no formula as such, and I personally feel that we should not rely much on formulas and all. Instead, if you get the feel of the concept, you need not require formula. But still, we'll be discussing the definition and the formula. Then we'll be discussing the concept of percentage increase and decrease. Then we will be discussing about the how is percentage useful in our daily life, how it is being used. Then we'll be discussing certain short tricks and tips regarding this concept. Okay friends, so let us start. Now what does percentage means? If you break this word percent, it is nothing but percent. Cent is the root word, English root word for century, centenary, right? What does that mean? 100. Century means Sachin Tendulkar scored a century, 100 runs, right? Cent means 100. Per means every 100, right? We measure the speed, right? 10 kilometers per hour. It means for every hour, it will travel 10 kilometers. Percent means for every 100, you will have that particular value. So, what the problem was being faced in real world? Let us relate it with our own experiences. If you remember in your 10th and 12th standard, you will be asked by so many your friends and relatives how many percentage of you have got in your 10th standard or 12th standard. Nobody asks you how many marks you have got in your 10th standard and 12th standard. Why? Why they don't ask about your absolute marks and why they ask only about your percentage? It means they are judging you based on the percentage marks. Why they ask percentage and why not the absolute marks? Let's see this. For example, there are two different students. One first student is studying in first student is A, second student is B. First student is studying in CBSE. Second student is studying in say some mm, some MP board. Okay, okay. Now in 10th standard, this CBSE has, as you all know, there are 5 subjects, right? Science, social science, and all those things will be there. Science, social science, mathematics, English, Hindi. MP board also has this 5 subjects, but there is a slight difference. And obviously, this is hypothetical. In CBSE, every paper consists of 100 marks, but in MP board, every paper consists of 200 marks. Now, student A got 350 marks in all, and student B got 800 marks in all. Or let's reduce it to say student B got 600 marks in all. Okay, out of 1000 marks, and this fellow got 350 marks out of 500 marks. Now, if this person is, if any professor comes and asks, want to judge the intellect of these two candidates, and we are, the basic assumption is we are calculating, we are assuming that whosoever gets more percentage, or whosoever intellect is judged, the basic assumption is the intellect is being judged by the marks scored by the candidate. What will this person say? I have got 350 marks. What will this another person say? I have got 600 marks. What will this the professor, this is the prof, what will the prof judge? The prof will judge that student B got more marks, it means student B is a better performer. But it is not the case. Student B got 600 marks out of these 1000 marks. Student A got 350 marks out of this 500 marks. Right? This is an error in judgment, right? If you go for absolute values. This, if the professor wants to know the real uh, intelligence of these two candidates, he has to get the four data. He has got 350 marks out of 500 marks. This second person got 600 marks out of 1000 marks. So these four data have to be passed to this particular person, and then he can conclude whichever candidate is more successful. So this is the basic problem why why the concept of percentage came into picture. If the professor would have calculated the percentages of those two candidates, he would have easily known which of the which of the candidates is a more brighter candidate. Now, what is percentage? As I have already told, percent, right? So for every 100, if you get a total of 500 marks, and out of those 500 marks, student 1 got 350 marks, then I would scale it down the 500 marks to 100 marks. Then if the total papers would have been of 100 marks, how many marks would this fellow would have got, right? That is called as percentage. This is another definition if you want to understand it in this way. Now let us first discuss the formula, because so many of us would be more comfortable when we start with the formula. So there is only one and one formula in this topic. Okay, percentage is nothing but desired quantity. The quantity can be total number of marks, total weight, total volume upon total quantity into 100. This is the only formula in percentage, right? Now let us go back to our professor problem. This student A got 350 marks out of 500. What would be his percentage? Into 100 comes out to be 70%, right? The second student got 600 marks out of 1000. Into 100 is how much percentage? 60%. So if he would have gone with absolute quantity, he would have selected this candidate. But no, that would be wrong, because this candidate has a better chance. If it was scaled to 100, this candidate would have got 70 marks, and the second candidate would have got 60 marks. It means this guy is superior to this guy as far as selection is concerned. Okay, so this is the practical use of percentage. Now friends, let us discuss the next concept of percentage increase and percentage decrease. Now what we have been doing till now is we have been calculating the absolute percentages, desired quantity upon total quantity into 100, you would get the desired percentage. Now every now and then you would be listening about the GDP growth of the country. The government is aiming at a 10% annual growth. What is this? What is this 10% annual growth? What do we mean by that? It means, considering the last year as the base year, government is expecting a 10% growth. It means the second year's output should be, GDP2 should be GDP1 plus 10% of GDP1. This is called a percentage increase. Now let us illustrate this with a simple the marks, student marks concept. Okay, student A is studying in fifth class, sixth class, and seventh class. Okay, he has attempted mathematics. The total marks of mathematics was 100 in every class. Okay, in the fifth class he secured 60 marks. In the 6th class, he secured 70 marks. In the 7th class, he bunked the classes and he secured 50 marks. What is the percentage in 5th class? 60 upon 100 into, beg your pardon, 60 upon 100 into 100 comes out to be 60%, right? 6th class, 70 upon 100 into 100 comes out to be 70%. 7th class, 50 upon 100 into 100 comes out to be 50%, right? So let us sum this up. In 5th class, 6th and 7th, this fellow got 60% here, 70% here, and 50% here. Now, what is the percentage increase in marks of the candidate from 5th class to 6th class? It means you have to take the base quantity as 60%. From 60% it has grown to 70%. It means on 60% how much has it grown? Change in quantity upon the base quantity into 100. So you change the base quantity. That is called a percentage increase or decrease. What is the change here? 60 minus 10, 70 comes out to be 10. 10 upon base means base is 60 into 100. That comes out to be 16.66%. Okay. In the second case, if you see there is a percentage decrease. How much would be the percentage decrease? Same formula. Change in quantity upon the base quantity into 100. 70 minus 50 comes out to be 20 upon the base quantity 70 into 100, that comes out to be around 28%. Okay, so this is nothing but percentage increase and decrease. Now let us come back to the practical implications. As we have already seen, we are being judged on our percentages, right? 10th standard, how many percentage you have got, percentage of marks, our intellect is being judged on that. Now any concept, if not studied properly, can be very dangerous. I'll tell you a very small example in this. For example, there is a particular state. State means, let's say, Kerala, or Kerala is, you can take it as Madhya Pradesh. Okay. Madhya Pradesh in 2005, elections happened, and the literacy rate in Madhya Pradesh was 2%. Okay. A new chief minister is being elected. New chief minister is being elected. And then in 2010, the chief minister claims to have a 50% increase in literacy rate. What he's saying that he has been working so hard and the literacy rate has been of the state has been increased by 50%. Now, for a layman who do not know these concepts uh, very easily, what he will think that he has worked so much hard, he has increased 50% of the population literacy rate by 50%. 50% sounds to be a big number. What actually he has done, it is not his success, it is his failure. Let us see how it is. In 2005, there was 5%, 2% of literacy rate. It means out of every 100 people, only 2 people were literate. Now he claims to have increased the literacy rate by 50%. 50% means you have to increase base. This is the total increase. We want to see how many increased, how many of the people increased per 100 people upon base. As I've already seen in that marks question, the base would be 2, right? Into 100 comes out to be 50%, right? This is his percentage increase. Del Q is nothing but difference in the 2 years. Okay, this is the total number of people who he has worked hard and make them as literate. If you cancel this, this comes out to be 1. So it means in 2005, 2 people were uh, 2 people of every 100 people, only 2 people were literate. In 2010, out of the honorable minister's excellent work, one more person increased. It becomes 3% now per 100. Is it a failure or a success? As we can see, it is a big failure. He has been able to include just one person per 100. This in this way, percentage can be very, very deceptive. Or if he would have told that I have increased 100%, the literacy rate is increased by 100%, that again would have been his failure. Why? Because if you calculate 100%, there will be two more people added. So it becomes 4 per 100. If he really worked hard, the literacy rate should have been increased by 2000% or even more than that. So in that way, the percentage profit can be very deceptive. So to have a real feel of it, you should you should have the complete thorough knowledge of these concepts, right? Now, what are the applications of this percentage? In SSC CGL examination, you will be coming across various topics in mathematics like profit and loss, like compound interest, simple interest, CISI. In all these topics, there is an underlying concept of percentage. If a student is weak in percentage, he will definitely face issues in these topics and overall screw his preparation. So it is very important to by heart these topics. And I'll tell you the areas where you can easily find the use of percentage. For example, you would have seen, right? 5 by 6, 7 by 8, which is greater? These kind of questions generally come in many bank exams and SSC CGL examinations. If you see this, how will you approach this question? What you will do is, a general person, what will do is, he'll divide this 5 by 6.0, and then he will do the 68, the 48, and then he will do the lengthy calculation, right? Right? But if you fall into this trap, since this is an easy question, everybody feels to attempt this question. But it can be very easily solved by percentages. How? We'll tell you. Now we have come to the last topic known as short tricks and tips. You must be wondering what we have been doing till now is we have been putting everything on pen and paper. If we have to calculate 60, his marks obtained as 60, total marks is 100, we will multiply it by 100 and we used to calculate the total percentage called as 60%. But friends, in SSC CGL examination, you get hardly a minute to solve a question. And if you keep writing everything on pen and paper, it becomes very difficult to catch up with the speed because your mechanical labor is increased. So in order to avoid that, we have to learn certain short tricks. It is not short tricks, but basically you become so much acquainted with numbers that you it becomes very easy for you to solve the questions. What I would advise you is calculate percentage. What is 1 by 2? 1 by 2 is nothing but 50%. What is 1 by 3 is nothing but 33%. Okay, what is 1 by 4 is nothing but 25%. What is 1 by 17 is nothing but 5.8%. How I know all those things? Because I have written these things in a blank sheet of paper continuously for a week or 2 weeks, and now it has become very easy for me to identify the percentage. 1 by 3 means what is 1 by 17? It means there are 17 bricks. What is that one brick constitute of this 17? It constitutes 5.88%, right? If the 17 was scaled to 100, then what this one would have scaled to? It would have scaled to 5.8. Right? If you know the concept, you can easily figure it out. Now let us see that last question which we have discussed. Right? What I was saying, which is the larger number, 5 by 6 or 7 by 8? That's a very simple question. Which is the larger number? Now since I know 1 by 6 is nothing but 16.66%, 1 by 8 is nothing but 12.5%. I remember it by heart. Even you can do so. You have to practice it. 5 by 6 is nothing but 1 minus 1 by 6. Let us assume this as 16. Let us assume this as 12 because only two numbers are to be compared. We can ignore the decimal part. Approximation, right? 1 minus 100 minus 16 comes out to be 84. What is this? 100 minus 12 comes out to be, or 12 or 13, whatever comes out to be 88. Okay, 88 is greater than 84. Khata. This is the larger number. That also I have written it on paper. It should be done in mind. So friends, this is all about percentages. Not even a single question will come outside these concepts, right? You have to practice these concepts. You have to first get the grasp of concept, what percentage actually means. Okay, there is one last topic in percentage which is rarely being used anywhere in any examination, that is called percentage profit points. Percentage profit, percentage points, beg your pardon, percentage points. What is this percentage point? Percentage point means if a student A has got 60 marks out of 100 marks, student B has got 80 marks out of say 160 marks. Okay, then what is the percentage of A? Percentage of A, calculate in your mind, it has to be 60%. What is the percentage of B? It has to be 50%. Okay, what is the percentage decrease? Percentage decrease is nothing but percentage decrease would be difference 10 by 60 is nothing but 16.66 percentage. That is percentage decrease. But what is the percentage point difference? It is the difference of the absolute percentages. This is 60% and this is 50%. Percentage points would be 10%. Okay, so this is known as percentage points. It will be rarely asked, but just for the sake of terminology, you should know it. So friends, this is all about percentages. For any further doubts, you can write your doubts on the comment below and try to solve as many questions as you can. Thank you and all the best for your further examinations.